everybody, thanks for joining. Today's tutorial is going to be on how I make my bookmarks using Mica powder. Mica powder, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I'm going to drive you guys nuts saying that. Mica powder, Mica powder, and obviously also some glitter. I haven't done a lot of research on this powder, but so it might be fake powder, but it still gives pretty much the same effect as far as I understand it. So let's get into it. Alright, so I was told by somebody to go to the Dollar Tree and buy their eyeshadows. And these are all the ones that I was able to find to use as the Mica or Mica powder. So I got all 4 of these, and I also picked up these. So give it a try and see what it does. So I have already done one, well, the ones I showed you before, but also these. And I don't know if you can kind of just see the, get that off of there, the pearlescent kind of gleam that it gives the bookmark. Let me bring out the other 2 that I showed earlier. This is the back part. It kind of gives you a little bit of a, it's like a creamy look is what I like to say. This one I went crazy with the glitter, so it's less noticeable. But so I'm not sure if you can kind of see what I'm talking about there, but this is what these powders create. So basically, I'm going to show you from scratch how to do one, and then I'm going to show you how I do the next step with one that I have already started. So I already mixed my epoxy, and it's Amazing Clear Cast by Light. That's the one I've used, and they've worked pretty good for me. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to separate some of the epoxy because I'm going to be mixing the powder in it, and I need some clear epoxy for the next step. I don't really measure, I just kind of eyeball it. But once you've done a few of these, you'll know about how much you're going to need. And for this one, I'm going to actually scrape off some of this. So the way I did it, really basic, really simple. I just took a push pin and I just scrape some and I tap it in. Like that. And if I need more, I can get more, but I'm going to start with that. Then I just stir it in. I've noticed that when I use the pressed powder as opposed to this one, it does not, it leaves a little bit of clumps in there, but you just have to really mix and you can get them and break them up and get them out of there. So this is, I mean, it works and it's beautiful. And for $1, I got 3 different colors, and these little containers, I'm not sure yet how many bookmarks I can get, but since it's such a little bit of the powder, I have a feeling that I'm not going to have to buy any more for quite some time. I just need to go back to the Dollar Tree and see if they have any more newer colors or different shades that I can use, that I can pick up. So, alright, so it's mixed. It's not perfect, but I don't want to have you guys here watching me mix this for tons of time, but it's pretty good. Okay, so what I do now is I take my mold, and I got these molds at Amazon, and I have a link down below for the ones that I purchased. And then I just basically scoop. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that beautiful shine on there? So I'm going to take the epoxy and I'm going to gently put it into the mold. I like to start in the corners because that way I know for sure that there's epoxy on the corners. You want to, of course, avoid bubbles because bubbles will turn into holes on these bookmarks, and then you'll have holes, and then if you have holes on the edges, they make the edges sharp, and that's never fun for anybody. You can see those little chunks inside there. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to say that those little chunks can give it a little bit of style. I am of the firm belief that in art, right, you can't go wrong. There's no right or wrong. You just give it a try and see how it works, and if you don't like it, you try something else. So you can't go wrong. You basically are just expressing yourself and seeing what comes out. I think that's the beauty of it. There's no right, wrong, or rules to it. Sorry. So now that I've got it all mixed in there, what I like to do is I will take my heat gun. I'm just trying to see if I can break up just a couple of these little chunks. Because I said they don't matter, and they really don't. I just figured I would try. Looks like they're sinking to the bottom, and I don't know that I want to see them on the bottom. And little chunks won't matter, but if it's like it's a big piece, I'll try and blend it. Like that one that I just did right there. But I love this color, and I'm not sure if this translates, but there's such a nice little shine here. It's really pretty. Okay, so there is that. Then I'm going to take my heating gun and I'm gonna blow on it a little. Pop any bubbles. Make sure it goes into every corner. Obviously you don't want to do that too much because you could make it overflow, but for me this looks pretty good. The colors are nice. This is a great base for anything else. If I wanted to put some glitter on here, I would, but I think I'm going to leave it like that for the purpose of this video, since it's just about the Mica powder. And so that was using this, and look at how much I have left. So that's, and I've used it, obviously you can see before, on something else. So I'm going to move this to the side. This is where we're going to start on step B. So this is the first half. If you look, this is the flat side, so this is going to be the bottom, and this is the top, and it has a little lip right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that lip in with epoxy to give it a little more strength and to make it a little bit more even. But before I do that, we're going to use the vinyl decal that I made to put the name on here. Now this vinyl is actually book cover from the Dollar Tree. Looks like actually this looks like it's turning out to be a Dollar Tree video. So this is from the Dollar Tree. They sell them in the school area, and they come in different colors, and I love it. It's pretty. It works really well, but even better on bookmarks because this is going to be covered with epoxy. So it doesn't matter if this does not stay on or if it's not permanent vinyl because it's going to be covered in epoxy. So you basically just lay it down, press it down, just like you normally apply to anything else. And usually, now today maybe for me it's going to give me a little bit of a hard time, but it usually just peels right off. Then I'm just helping it so it stays down while I pull it. Whoopsie! Let's go back. I don't want to rip the letters. Again, it's from the Dollar Tree, so it's not going to be the best quality, but the color matches really well. And once the vinyl's on, it's not going to come off, right? So, whoops. You know what? It's all about being gentle. I'm sure I'm not being as careful as I totally could. This has a little curl, which makes it a little difficult, so I'm just gonna yank it that way. There we go, and then I'll press the curl down. There it goes. So that really wasn't too terrible. That's on there nice and flat. Give it a little bit more of a push. now that the decal is on, it's ready for the epoxy. What I'm going to do with this epoxy is I am going to add a little bit of white glitter just to give it a little bit more of a pop. And I'm also going to add just a little bit more of the orange that is already inside the bottom piece. And it's just a hint, just so a little something shows up over the name. But that's it. Really, really light. It's hardly noticeable. I just stir it in a little bit. It's basically just to give it a little bit of a shine. And then I just take this epoxy and I pour it over to cover the decal. There we go. You don't want to overfill it because you want the epoxy to stay inside this little lip that I mentioned that there was. That's what keeps the epoxy from going over the edge. But you do want to spread it all the way to the edge so that you don't have any weird bumps or ridges once the epoxy has cured. What I like to do is I take a little flashlight and I get as close as possible to see if I see any dimples or anything weird. And of course, I am also going to run the heat gun over this to make sure that I get every corner, to make sure that I got all of it. When you leave this to dry, you want it to dry in an even, somewhere flat and even, so that it's going to dry evenly and not get any weird bumps. Okay, so that was not a lot of epoxy, and if you notice, there's a little bit of a shine to the top. Now I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. I see a couple little bubbles popping. And really, that's basically it. Now this one cures for 12 to 24 hours, and it's ready for the tassel and to be given away. This one just needs to cure for 12 hours, and then you can put whatever name or decal or whatever you'd like to put on it. And with these same steps, give it another 12 hours, and it'll be ready. So guys, I hope that this was helpful to you to learn how to use the powders. Hopefully now, if you didn't know about these awesome things from the Dollar Tree, you do know now. And if this video was enjoyable to you, you learned anything, you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I plan to be posting a couple other ones of some other ideas I have for bookmarks. You can find the links below to the epoxy, to the molds, and to the tassels. Thanks a lot, guys. Until next time, I hope you have a super day.